Joining us now is Congressman Michael Waltz. He's a representative for Florida's 6th Congressional District. Congressman, always good to see you. Good morning.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be with you.
So let's start with the major rulings from the Supreme Court. We're talking rulings on guns, faith, and of course abortion, all drawing strong responses from both sides. So your reaction, what impact do you think this will have on the upcoming midterm elections?
Well, on the Roe versus Wade decision, the court essentially said that courts in the United States should not be making these types of decisions. We shouldn't essentially be legislating from the courts. The elected legislatures should make that decision. There has never been a national, federal, from Congress law on abortion one way or another. So therefore, it devolves down to the states. And obviously, a lot of emotion on either side. And people need, if that's top of mind for them in this upcoming election, as they vote for their state reps and their state senators, then that should be carried out at the ballot box, and their voice should be heard at the ballot box. But the bottom line is that courts shouldn't be making that decision. Elected legislatures should. And
Congressman, consumers are faced with the worst inflation we've seen in decades. Gas prices making the issue worse. So what are you most concerned about when you look at our Central Florida economy?
Well, the cost of transporting goods, which is essentially, the gas prices that we're seeing and the oil prices that we're seeing, is underscoring this drive skyward that we're seeing with inflation. And my concern is the Biden administration isn't doing what it needs to do to arrest inflation. In fact, I think, sadly, it's going to be around for the foreseeable future because the Biden administration refuses to unleash American oil and gas, which, oh, by the way, from an environmental standpoint, is some of the cleanest in the world and certainly cleaner than what we would get from Venezuela or Russia. But instead, we're seeing the president go kind of on bended knee to the Saudis to beg the Saudis to pump more, to beg the UAE to pump more when we have it right here at home. But because of that flawed policy, I think gas prices are going to stay high. On the drive for a green energy future, I certainly support solar, wind, and having a balanced energy policy. But people need to understand that the Chinese Communist Party controls the basic minerals that go into batteries like lithium, cobalt, manganese. They control the mines all over Africa and all over the world, and they have some of the most polluting mining, some of the worst human rights abuses, and I don't want our energy future being controlled by the Chinese Communist Party either. So at the end of the day, the United States has to be energy independent, and that's the key to driving inflation down.
Yeah, and of course, the two sides have two very different views on how to get there. So you're the ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee. In the defense spending bill, there was millions in military construction for Florida bases. Were you pleased with how all that played out?
I am so far. We still have to get it, through the Senate and onto the president's desk. But we have a major project for Patrick Space Force Base now. It's been renamed. In Brevard County. We have other things in the bill for our major military bases from Eglin in the Panhandle to MacDill along the Gulf Coast near Tampa and around the state. Florida is a veteran-friendly, military-friendly state. We have a huge role in our nation's defense. And I'm really proud to be fighting for those military construction dollars for our bases right here in Florida.
Well, let's finish with this. You were no on the gun reform bill in Congress, as many Republicans were as well. Some of those provisions put in are already being done here in Florida. How do you compare those, and what do you see the future for this debate?
Yeah, look, I mean, there were some things in that bill I could have supported. Certainly the efforts towards mental health. We have a mental health crisis in our veterans community, and I think across the country with our young people as well, for hardening our schools. At the end of the day, my issue, though, was kind of this blank check going out when it comes to red flag laws, and I just don't trust states like Massachusetts, New York, California to protect our Second Amendment rights, which are absolutely a constitutional right, and every American has the right to defend themselves and defend their families, particularly with crime spiking like it is in many of the nation's inner cities.
So much to talk about, Congressman. We always appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us here.
All right. Thank you.